What's up, Fusion fans? So this is an 18 Fusion Sport, the 2.7 liter V6. This should apply to, I would like to think, all the all-wheel drive Fusions and the Mercuries. I'd say maybe 16 to 17 and up at least. This is going to be a PTU fluid change power transfer unit. On these later models, they do have a drain and a fill plug on them, so it's pretty easy. It's really nothing difficult to do. I'm going to show you how I do it here in my garage on the floor. Obviously, getting it up in the air so you can stand underneath it would be way easier, but I don't have that option here. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, I've already drained it. I'm gonna skip the boring part. This is the drain plug. It's got a magnet on it. I did already change this out about 10,000 miles ago. The fluid's pretty decently clean. I'm not taking any chances. I've seen issues with the older models that Ford didn't put a drain plug in and they just had a fill plug. You can service those. It's just a little bit harder. You need to get yourself a Mighty Vac or a liquid vacuum and stick it in the fill plug and then suck the fluid out and then refill it. It's just a little bit more complicated, but still, if you have the right tools, it's not hard. But that's the drain plug. It's already out. Now we'll go underneath here. Bear with me here. Get my flashlight. Okay, let's see here. Bear with me here. I'm gonna try to get a good angle here. Okay. There we go. Switch hands. Now, let's see if I can get up underneath here. Sorry, guys. Bear with me. Okay, so right there, a little hole right in the middle of the screen right there. There's your fill plug. So if you look for that sensor with the wire on it, it's almost directly above that. I'll tell you what, it's a torque bit. I'll tell you what size it is. And then, let's see, drain plug is right there. So it's really nothing that hard. And I've only got one side of the car jacked up. I did jack up the passenger side, so that way the fill plug is tilted towards the left side of the vehicle. So, and what I'll do, I'll explain it to you here. What I do is I fill it. It only takes about 15 ounces. Sorry, bear with me. So 15 ounces, maybe 15.2, I think is what this thing actually calls for. I actually got it written down here. Yeah, 15.22 fluid ounces is what it takes. Now, 75W140 is for the PTU. Okay, so power transfer unit is A. Go over here, the top one is A. Now you can't mix these up. The rear fluid is an 8090, so make sure when you do the front PTU, make sure you use a 75-140. That's what it takes. And as you can see here, I'm just using Valvoline 75-140. It is full synthetic. I don't think you're ever going to find a 75-140 that's not a full synthetic fluid, but just make sure, if you do buy it, make sure it does say full synthetic somewhere on the label, and you're fine. I've seen guys out there use all sorts of different brands of gear oil, AMS oil, all sorts of crazy stuff. As long as you're changing it and using the right weight and viscosity, 75-140, I don't think you're going to have an issue. But anyway, so here's what I do. So this is what I use to fill it up. Something like this could be used to suck out the old fluid on the older models that don't have a drain plug. This is basically just a really large syringe. So what I do is I take this, stick it down in the bottle, suck the fluid up into the syringe, and tip it over, seal it off, grab it underneath the car. I stick that hose up in the fill plug, and I just squeeze the oil into it. Okay. Now roughly I'll measure out 15-16 ounces of fluid. It's hard to be 100% accurate with something like this. Now the key is what I do once I get what I roughly estimate to be around 16 ounces of fluid in it. I leave the fill plug off, and I'll drop the car back down off of the jacks and onto the wheels. And if you did overfill it a little bit, the residual should run out the top of the fill plug, just like you would any other differential fluid service. You fill it up to about the fill plug, and then once it starts to come out the fill plug, then it's full. So that way I know I don't overfill it, and at least make sure that you don't underfill it. So that's why I say I'll measure out about 16 ounces and put at least 16 ounces in it, so that way I know it's not underfilled. And then once the car's level with the fill plug off, if it's overfilled, it should drain back out a little bit out of the fill plug. So and then button your fill plug back up and you're done. It's pretty easy. Doesn't really take that long. I'd say the longest part of this job is getting that stupid undershield off of the car. That just takes a couple minutes, but honestly, that's not really that hard at all to get this shield off, and that's about the hardest thing you got to deal with. So it's really not a bad job. I'm changing mine probably from here on out every 15,000 miles, at least 20,000 miles. That's just what I've decided to do. You guys can take it or leave it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ford recommends 30,000 miles. Don't quote me. I think the last time I looked it up, which was a while ago. So I would say as long as you guys are changing yours out every 30,000 miles, I don't think you're going to have any issues. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll get to them. Thanks.